Hey guys, welcome back to Honey Money SG, and in this channel, we are all about building financial knowledge, share money saving hacks, and also help you lead a fulfilling quality of life. Now, I finally reached my 1 year mark, which is a span of 12 months on my Endowus investment journey, and I just want to walk you through my performance update for December, right? And you know that for Endowus, I actually just invest using my CPF ordinary account and my SRS funds, so I don't use cash inside my Endowus portfolio. And you guys will know that I put my money where my mouth is, and I really have skin in the game so that you can decide for yourself whether Endowus is a good robo-advisor for you. Quick disclaimer here, this video is not sponsored by anyone or Endowus, and it's really not financial advice. It's really just me sharing what am I doing with my own funds and where I put my money in my investments. So if you want to copy it, it's really up to your own due diligence, right? Don't consider it financial advice. Okay, with that, let us go through the previous Endowus performance update, right, which was done in October 2021. So in my previous video, you all can look over here that I had a total gain of 2.5 thousand Singapore dollars. I do not consider the percentage gain to be accurate because I actually withdrawn some of the funds inside Endowus, right? So that's why the percentage is a little bump up. But in terms of absolute gain, right, you could look at my CPF portfolio. The other time I was gaining like 759 Singapore dollars. So that's the absolute gain on the CPF portfolio, which I invested fully into the Lion Global Infinity US 500, which tracks the S&P 500 index. And then for my SRS portfolio, it's also 100% into a single fund, which is Dimensional Global Core Equity Fund. I repeat this fund many times. It's really my favorite unit trust that you could use your SRS to invest. And that actually gave me like $105 during October period. Do note that my CPF portfolio was actually set up in April 2021, while my SRS portfolio previously started in December 2020, and then in August 2021 actually sold off all away from my general investing SRS portfolio and then just focused 100% into Dimensional Global Core Equity Fund in August. So this portfolio actually started in August instead. So with all the explanation done, now let me go through the December performance and show you guys how much have I made on my Endowus portfolio. Let's go. Alright guys, so welcome to my Endowus portfolio. So this time, my investment value has risen to 25.8k Singapore dollars, and that's excluding the $1,000 that I'm investing using my CPF OA monthly, right? So for the purpose of recording date, today is the 15th of December, which also happens to be the date that I set for my CPF OA deduction for my CPF investments. So gain or loss right now is around 3.1k Singapore dollars, which represents a 13.73%, but don't mind this percentage too much because like I mentioned before, if you had withdrawn money off your Endowus portfolios, then the percentage will actually increase, so that's not a good calculation. It's better to just look at the absolute gain or loss. So previously I was around 2.5k Singapore dollars, right now it's around 3.1k. So really good, right, for the October run. And let's move on to my individual goals, which is the CPF portfolio and my SRS portfolio. So my CPF portfolio right now, excluding the $1,000 investment made today, is around 13.3k Singapore dollars with a gain of around 1.3k Singapore dollars. So that's around a 10% gain. And then for my SRS Dimensional Honey Money portfolio, investment value is now around 12.5k, gain of around $200 or 1.64%. So 2 months back, it was around $105 of gain. So right now, it has increased to $200. So transactions, you can see that right now is 15th of December. I did my DCA as usual and then completed my SRS investments for the year. Let's move on to my performance for Endowus. So this is the total performance for my Endowus portfolio over time. So you can go and watch my previous videos on what happened during these periods, right? Especially in April and also in August, where I did like a portfolio reshuffle and then changed my portfolios in terms of the strategies used. So total investment portfolio now is at 25.8k, and if you look at the returns, here are the returns, right? The simple return will be around 13.7%, modified diet rates of return 21.6%, time weighted return around 26%. Annualized will be around 21.8%. So not too bad, right? For a 1 year performance of 20%, I would say that I'm really quite satisfied with Endowus performance, or rather the market's performance on the S&P 500 index as well as the MSCI World Index for the Dimensional Global Core Equity Fund. So if you are interested in what I invest with Endowus, right, very simple. I only have 2 things that I buy with. So right now I have Lion Global Infinity US 500. So this is 100% in my CPF portfolio. So 100% of my CPF is used to invest in the Lion Global Infinity US 500 Stock Index Fund. And if we look at the fund level fees, that's 0.63%, which is much higher than your VOO and CSPX, all that stuff. But because that's a unit trust and the only unit trust that could track the S&P 500 index at this level of fees. Also, the good thing is Endowus will actually rebate the trailer fees back to you. So that's like a 0.28% rebate. So your net fees after rebate is actually just 0.36%. And if we add up the Endowus excess fees of 0.3% for a single fund, the total fees will be 0.66% per year. 0.66% is actually not too bad if you consider that you could actually use CPF OA to invest in this fund. Of course, there will be other funds which has lower excess fees and all that stuff, but they probably can't invest in the S&P 500 index like the Lion Global Infinity US 500 as of today's date. So in future, we do not know. If there's a cheaper option, I'll probably go for it and do a follow-up video on that. And then for my SRS portfolio, it's very simple. It's 100% into the Dimensional Global Core Equity Fund. And the fund level fees are really cheap, right? It's 0.26%, which is actually 0.1% cheaper than US 500, right? But the thing about Dimensional Global Core Equity Fund is that you can't use CPF to invest in this unit trust because it is only accessible via the SRS sources of fund. So you can't use CPF to invest. That's why I use my 100% SRS to invest in this one. And then for my CPF, I just focus on the S&P 500. Top 10 holdings as usual, the top will be Microsoft at 4.76% and followed by Apple Inc., Amazon, Meta, Alphabet and Tesla. So all these are your big tech companies in the US, right? Especially the FANG companies, including Nvidia as well. So Nvidia has really been a good winner this year, especially it has grown more than 100%, more than 2x the stock price since the start of the year. Top 10 markets wise, US will definitely be the largest allocation because of the S&P 500 as well as the world index having a very large allocation to US stocks. So followed by Japan 3.5%, UK 2%, Canada 1%. So majority actually will come from US. Sector allocation wise, definitely we have a lot of emphasis on tech. 21%, financial services 14%, cyclicals 12%, healthcare 12%, industrials 11%. And if we look at this button on model asset allocations, you can go and play around with the Endowus portfolios that they have for you. So for strategy, we have core, satellite and cash smart. So these are all the Endowus advised portfolios. So they already pre-selected all the funds for you. You don't have to do anything. You just have to go and fund the money, select your portfolio, and then they will do the rest of the stuff for you. Of course, I didn't go for all these model asset allocations because I did my own single fund smart strategy, right? Which means I chosen my own funds. But if you are interested to take up Endowus and you don't know which ones to use, then I think these kind of strategies are really good for you to start out. So you can just choose your risk level based on conservative or very aggressive, depending on what kind of risk and returns that you can afford. There are also portfolios that focus on ESG, so these environmental sustainability and growth companies, they are more ethical and you may be more aligned with what they are doing as a business standpoint. So this will be really good for these people. Now CashSmart is something I talk about, but it's basically an avenue to place your excess cash for more low risk and low return strategies. So you just place cash over here, you can gain like 0.7% to 0.9% on your cash secure. Your enhanced portfolio will be around 1.2 to 1.5 and your CashSmart Ultra will be around 2 to 2.3. Of course, there is a chance to lose your capital because these are actually not your typical bonds and bank offerings for all that stuff. So there's actually some investment level risk, which is why I don't recommend to put cash inside, because I think all these are very low use and there are actually much more products in the market that could return much higher with just increasing a little bit more of risk. Now let's go on to the satellite portfolio. This is something new by Endowus, right? We have the new satellite portfolios which are more thematic depending on which market sector that you want to focus on. For example, technology, China equities, China fixed income, global real estate, mega trends, and low volatility fixed income. Now do note that all these portfolios can only be invested with cash, so you cannot use your CPF or your SRS to invest. And that's why all these portfolios don't interest me, because my fundamental use of Endowus is because they could use CPF and SRS to invest. And for cash, I actually have my interactive brokers, my Tiger brokers and my Mumu brokers, which you can sign up in the link down below. because they offer really cheap commission rates that I could select my own stock tickers and ETFs. But if you really want to invest in a satellite portfolio, I would really go for technology, because technology is the future, right? Disruptive innovation and growth, these are the companies that will bring us to the future. So let's see what this technology sector is all about, right? And look at the historical growth all time. This will be how it grows so fast, especially since 2020 when the pandemic hit. People really focus a lot on the tech companies, and there's a lot of return over the past year. But past performance is not an indicator of future performance, and you can see the underlying funds is really into these tech funds like Franklin Technology Funds, Fidelity Global Technology Fund, BlackRock Alliance, and BlackRock again, all these funds. But if we look at the holdings, top 10 will be Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Tesla, Salesforce. Alphabet is actually lower than Amazon, okay? So that's something different from my portfolio. And if we look at the top 10 markets, definitely US will be a large portion of it, 53%, followed by China. So there's actually quite a high China allocation, right? Because unlike my CPF and my SRS investment, I don't have China because China is considered emerging markets. But they probably have like Alibaba, Tencent, JD, and Meituan here in the technology fund. So that's a bit of emerging market risk for you, depending on how you see it. And definitely we have a lot of focus on technology, 46%, communications, 8%, cyclical 7.5%. So you can go and take a look at all these technology, China equities, China fixed income funds, and see what are the underlying funds that is invested in, and also the equities that the funds are invested in, and see if they fit your appetite. Of course, all these things don't fit my appetite because the funding source cannot use CPF or SRS to invest, so these are all of my options. I really won't touch anything out of the CPF and SRS portfolio. So there you go, right? The brand new Endowus satellite portfolios and model asset allocations. Do take a look and see if it fits your appetite. And if you have found value from my sharing in both my results as well as the new Endowus satellite portfolio sharing, then do comment a thank you at the bottom of the page. I'll greatly appreciate it, and let's get back to the video. Alright guys, welcome back. So you can see that this is now my Endowus portfolio performance in December, and you could really compare it with my previous October update or even August or June update, right? Depending on what video you're comparing it to. So it gives like a very good comparison between the current performance and my historical performance. But what you must know is that past performance is not an indicator of future performance, so don't expect it to perform the same next year, because market is really irrational than you think. But through my video, if you really found it interesting and want to sign up with Endowus, right, I actually have 3 referral links that you could sign up with. Okay, the first referral link will actually grant you up to $40 of excess fee credits until 31st of December 2021. So this is the double excess fee credits promotion. The second referral link here actually gives you $20 of excess fee credits and no fees for managing your portfolio until 31st of December 2021. While the last referral link over here actually is more specific for SRS. So if you want to invest SRS, there are actually additional gifts on top of the $20 excess fee credits that you can go and take a look at if you are investing in SRS. So either use the first link or the third link, right, depending on what you're investing in Endowus for. And going forward to 2022, I will continue to update my Endowus portfolio performance for you guys so that you all can actually take a look at how far we have come through. So with that, remember to give me a like at the bottom of the video and consider subscribing to my channel for more of this investing content. Also join us over at our Telegram community group at Honey Money SG over at this link. And if you want to take a look at my previous Endowus video in October, right, then do take a look at this thumbnail over here, because it will link you to that video to show you how we have come so far. My name is Christopher. This is Honey Money SG, steering young adults to financial independence.